In this breaking story, Pete Hegseth has been left panicking after the White House just dropped a total bombshell on him. That's right, this is huge, and for once, this bombshell is not just Trump firing off another unhinged tweet from the toilet. How's it going? My name is Hunter Avalone with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. I know that ultimately we can all agree that Trump is a disaster. And now, once again, the stock market is taking a brutal beating, all thanks to Donald Trump's insanity.
Look at the markets, which are very unwelcome on this Monday afternoon. The Dow is down 1,270 points right now, so we're at session lows. And if we close here, it will be the 11th 1,000-point drop in the Dow's history, and it's the 4th this month. Now, the S&P broad market, here's what you need to know: down 3% and down 16% from the 52-week high. We're about 200 points above the intraday low of 49.10 on April 8th. Keep these in mind as people look for a retest, and is that an entry point?
U.S. stocks tanked because President Trump hurled more social media insults toward Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, sparking concerns of Fed independence at a time when markets are still reacting to the president's insane tariffs. Wow, I guess this is the red wave conservatives we're talking about. We just recently covered how the other day Pete Hegseth was outed once again for including family members in top secret discussions about military strikes. Trump's administration seemingly was completely unfazed by this latest scandal. In fact, the White House press secretary even tried to claim that the entire Pentagon was working against Pete Hegseth.
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring, so they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media.
Pete Hegseth also reinforced this same idea, as he was especially confident when speaking with reporters.
This is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter.
Now, both these clips you just saw have aged like milk. That's right, because the moment you've been waiting for is finally here, as Pete Hegseth has been left in a panic as the White House dropped a complete bombshell on him.
The signal scandal continues to engulf the Pentagon. And now a new report suggests the Trump administration may be preparing to replace Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. According to NPR, a US official, speaking anonymously, confirmed that the White House has begun the process of identifying a successor. This revelation comes after the New York Times reported that Hegseth shared sensitive details about US airstrikes in Yemen with a second private signal group chat, which included his wife, brother, and personal attorney. The leak, reportedly sent minutes after Hegseth was briefed by military officials, has intensified concerns about his handling of classified information. The White House has publicly denied the NPR report, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt calling it fake news based on one anonymous source, and asserting that President Trump stands strongly behind Hegseth. However, internal turmoil within the Department of Defense is evident. 4 senior advisors have recently resigned or been dismissed amid accusations of leaking and infighting. The Pentagon's acting inspector general has launched an investigation into Hegseth's use of Signal, and bipartisan calls for his resignation are growing louder. While the administration maintains a facade of support, behind closed doors, the search for a new defense secretary appears to be underway, signaling a potential shift in leadership amid the ongoing controversy. For many in DC, the message is clear. Hegseth is on borrowed time.
Well, I'm really sorry, Pete, but it seems as though your confidence was premature. This also demonstrates that it's very unlikely the entire Pentagon is working against Pete Hegseth. Instead, what's far more realistic is that Pete Hegseth is the problem. He's an idiot from Fox News, and he does not deserve to even hold the position that he currently wields. It's just embarrassing for the Trump administration, for Pete Hegseth, and most of all, for America. I'm sorry, America is not being made great again. Not at all. America has only been made embarrassed again.